This is your one and only chance, Big Suke.
What do you got?
Well, you're not going to be here tomorrow.
No, I am not.
Tomorrow is Rop in the Bank.
Oh, yes.
If you would like to enter any plays for the record, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah. Screw it. I'll go with this.
What do you think?
And I'm not going to do the teaser thing. I know you're going to tease. I'll just flat out say right now, I'm going to go 5 units.
Okay.
5 units Baltimore, and I'll go big. I'll go 5 units San Francisco.
Okay.
It's going to be San Francisco, Baltimore rematch, and hopefully we get a closer game.
So Baltimore -4.
Yeah.
San Francisco, just double checking.
I think it's 7.
We
right
use
now.
DraftKings.
Yeah, I think it's 7 on DraftKings.
It was 7.5 earlier.
I think it's down to 7. I just looked this morning. Yep, 7 on DraftKings.
7 and 4.
Yep.
Okay, you're in.
So this is where
That's what everybody thinks.
I know, which means it's probably not going to happen. But what the hell, right? Like, I just look at it and I'm trying to take emotion out of it. Like last week, I was like, hey, if you give me points with Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to take him. But I really think Baltimore is just that much better. Like if I go position by position, right? I'm going to take quarterback out of it because Mahomes is if you think Kansas City's going to win, it's simply because of Patrick Mahomes. Because there's no other position. Mark Andrews is going to play, and Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. Kelce's is a better pass catcher. I think Andrews, believe it or not, is probably an actually better overall tight end, but Andrews is coming and is beat up. Kelce hasn't been that good. I think that's kind of a wash. I'll maybe give you a slight edge, but running backs, again, Pacheco's good, but he's dealing with a foot and an ankle or a toe. So he's not playing right now. And I think Baltimore has a better collection of backs. They do it by committee. Offensive line isn't even close. The two tackles for the Chiefs are a mess. Their best O-lineman is Thuney. He's not going to play. He's got a pec injury. Oh, and by the way, just FYI on that, the backup that's going to be playing is a journeyman. Like he's a bad guard that's going to be inserted, and you know who he's going to be playing with. And again, I know it's a lineman thing. It's a little boring, but take a look at it's Madum Buki. Justin, out of Texas A&M, first team All-Pro, arguably the best defensive tackle in the league, not named Aaron Donald. I mean, the middle of this offensive line is going to get crushed by him. And the two tackles are problematic as it is. They're penalty machines. And Baltimore doesn't blitz. Everyone keeps saying, well, Mahomes against the Ravens, because the Ravens have always been a big blitz team. This Ravens team doesn't need to blitz. They don't. And so the only way, and Kansas City is not a team that throws the ball deep. So the only way Kansas City is going to be able to move on this Baltimore defense is to run the ball and not get in obvious passing situations. And I'm not certain that they're going to run the ball against this Ravens defense. They might, because San Francisco did it, but I think San Francisco is a much better run team. So with a banged up Pacheco, Thuney not going to play, I think that's a big advantage. And if Kansas City gets in obvious passing situations, they're in some trouble because the Ravens secondary, they can play coverage, they can still get after the quarterback. That's scary. Now, on the other side of the things, when I look at Kansas City, Kansas City is one of the worst teams against really only one style, and that's quarterback runs. Kansas City has a really good defense, but they play a lot of these matchup zones. And what that does is it takes a lot of eyes off the quarterback. I don't know if they can play that against Lamar Jackson. I think if they do, I think Baltimore is going to tell Lamar, I don't care, just run. We don't need to save anymore. So I actually think it's just a really bad matchup for Kansas City. So when I look at it from an intellectual standpoint, I think Baltimore can not only win, I think Baltimore can kick their ass. But there's a trust factor there with Mahomes. There's a trust factor there with Andy Reid. I get it. But I'm telling you, from a matchup standpoint wise, the only one you can say that Kansas City has an advantage is maybe at tight end and at quarterback. And I'm telling you, there's not a huge difference between Andrews and Kelce and Lamar Jackson this year and Pat Mahomes. There's an advantage, but is it big enough to say that it negates the advantage at wide receiver, O-line, D-line, linebacker, secondary? And then kicker, I think, is a wash because both have elite kickers. So I'm taking Baltimore.
All right, you're logged.
There you go.
Baltimore -4 for 5 unis.
It's about as detailed a breakdown as you people are like, shut up. But
my head hurts.
There you go.
I loved it.
San Francisco -7 for 5 unis.